Hi there, a wonderful and warm greeting from northern Uganda. My name is Layoo Charles. I am a farmer who dabbles as a content creator. Recently, I've been getting a lot of questions on my previous video that I made about watermelon farming. Now, it was a very detailed video telling you everything that you need to produce a good and quality watermelon. I decided to make another video answering some of your questions. Now in today's video, I'm going to cover about 5 or 6 things that you've asked in the other video, and one of the most question that I was being asked with was about spacing. What is the proper spacing of watermelon? That's one thing I'm going to cover. Secondly is proper way to plant your watermelon, because some farmers have that challenge. They don't know how best to really plant their melon. Another thing, we'll talk about germination, and then the fourth thing we'll talk about will be spraying your melon, and second last thing we'll talk about will be watering your melon. And of course, at the end of the video, I'll be able to give you a bonus tips that you should really know or consider as a melon farmer for a bountiful harvest. So jumping straight into the video, let's start with watermelon. What is watermelon for the start? Watermelon, something you really have to know, are actually warm season crops that grows majorly, and they grow based on average temperature of around 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. What does that mean? It means watermelon seeds do not germinate very well in cold soils. So that's something you as a farmer you should really consider, or you as someone who wants to venture into melon farming, especially this 2024, you should consider. And now you may ask me that what is the best time to plant your watermelon? This is one of the questions I am faced with most of the time. And the current world that we are living in, I don't think there is the best time for doing anything. Every time can be the best time. For example, there is a lot of off-season farming nowadays. There are people that are bringing in the aspect of irrigation, so that means you can actually do your farming even if there is no rain. So there is no best time to plant your watermelon. Just do your research, have the right information, and when you're ready, your garden is ready, well prepared, just put in your melon. So that is something you have to know about the timing. So let's talk about how to plant your melon. There are actually two ways to plant melon that most people don't know about. And one is by planting directly, planting the watermelon seedlings or the seeds directly. You make a hole, then you put your melon. That's one. Then secondly, if you have enough resources, or depending on which one you prefer, you can actually start with nursery bed. You put your melon seeds in the bed, then later on, after maybe 1 or 2 weeks, you can transplant it to the garden, now to the main mother garden. So those are two ways that you can actually use to plant your melon, and you can choose which one works for you. And let's talk about spacing, because this is one of the questions that I've been getting a lot. People have been asking me about the spacing, that hey Charles, how do I really space my melon? And of course, I've made a whole note here. If you need, you can always reach out to me, then I'll be able to avail you with one I can share on your email or something like that. So let me answer your question about the spacing. You know, spacing of melon is very important aspect uh, as a melon farmer, and you should actually take that seriously. And This is what I know, and this is what we've been doing for the past 2 years. This is going to be like the third year. You should always make a spacing of about 4 to 5 feet. I don't know, different people measure it differently, but 4 to 5 feet from all to all, and then 4 to 5 feet between the line. Or alternatively, depending, you can always also do 6 to 8 feet apart. Please note that you don't really have to do it exactly like I say, or exactly a certain farmer says. You can always put yours differently. So, and I'm sure it's going to work for you. Now, why do we do that? Because watermelon, normally they need a lot of rooms, they need a lot of space. And this is because when you plant them, for example, when you put them 4 to 5 feet apart or 6 feet apart, they will always spread around the garden, spread around. And that is why it is always advisable that you keep your garden very clean. Watermelon does not need laziness. So whenever you're planning to plant it before, make sure your garden is well cleared and well clean, because that will help you to have good yield. That will help you to get some bountiful harvest. Another point that I may want to add in the other part of planting, because I told you that there are two ways. One, you can use seedlings, or the second one, you can transplant. Under normal circumstances, in most cases, watermelon grown from transplant, where you transplant from the bed, for example, they can be harvested actually as much early as 2 weeks earlier than melon grown from the seedling. Because, like I always tell you in my video, melon takes around 2.5 months to 3 months in the garden. And of course, that is from planting to harvesting. So, this literally means melon can take around 90 days to 100 days in the garden, and it would be ready for harvesting, or you would have actually sold it already. That is if you have the market ready. So another thing I can talk about is the germination that people always ask. So germination of the seeds will take at least between 4 to 6 days. That is after planting. Now let me touch a bit about spraying, because unless you are doing organic farming, of course this depends on which variety you're using, you will always be required to spray. So spraying should start actually 3 days after germination using pesticides. And there are different pesticides that people always use. So depending on which one your agronomist has recommended for you, or you can always go and check which one is available in the grow shops near you. There are actually different types you can always use. So it's advisable that you start spraying your melon as early as possible. And when there is a lot of rain, you can always spray your melon 2 to 3 times in a week. But then, actually, not 2 to 3 times. When there's too much rain, you're supposed to be spraying it after every 2 days. But then, when there is not too much rain, you can be spraying it even 1 or 2 times a week. So that is for spray. Also, it is advisable to always spray before morning, like before 10:30 a.m. when the sun is not too hot, or a little later. Why? This is because when it is very hot, we all understand that the spray always evaporates. And now this makes it, one, it's a waste of resources for you, and that is not, of course, good for you. As farmers, we believe in not wasting resources. We believe in using the little we have to produce something that can be sustainable. So that is it about spraying. And then lastly, talking about watering, actually second last. One thing you must know is that watermelon, just by its name, needs a lot of water, and this is why sometimes when you uh, it needs a lot of water. Why? Because they say it is comprised of, I think, 92% of water, if I'm not forgetting. So this is why normally when maybe you're sick, you go to the hospital. Sometimes even the medical people recommend that, hey, go buy watermelon. You take a lot of watermelon because yes, it is comprised of 92% of water. Wow, I think that's really a lot of water. So now talking about that, the bulk of watermelon, the watermelon roots, the one that penetrates down, uh, they are found in the top 12 inches of soil. Now, when watering your melon, you need to try to apply as much as within that 12 inches only. Don't go beyond the road, because this will be you'll just be wasting your water and you'll be wasting the resources. So now lastly, which is my bonus for you today, this is something I had made for you and I believed in it. One, when you're growing your melon, it is important as a farmer to understand the characteristics or the types or the varieties you're going to plant, because apparently I think there are over 60 varieties, and I don't know, I don't know, I probably don't even know like 20, but they say there are over 60 varieties of melon, by the way. So it's important for you as a farmer to understand which one you're going for, and because there are over 60 varieties available in the market. And please remember that each variety has its own unique nature or characteristics, we would say. That is from maturity period, resistance to disease, sweetness, weight, you know where they all perform differently, so among others. So it is very important to understand this, because there are some that may only weigh, let's say, between like 1 kilograms to 5 kilograms. There are some that would probably weigh between 7 to 15 kilograms. So it's different. It's also very good for you as a farmer to understand this. My name is Charles Layoo, and of course, I hope this helps you as someone who is planning maybe to venture into melon farming this year. And if you have a plan, please do not, and do not, I always say, do not procrastinate. Start it now, start it today, because by starting, you'll get to understand, you'll get to know a lot about farming, about melon farming, and make that mistake today, because the longer you wait, it would be very late for you. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to subscribe, like this video, and let me know any of your thought or concern in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video.